All right, welcome to Strong Dads. Hey, this is Merle Hutchinson, and I'm going to give you a preview of what our show is going to be about today. So we had the opportunity to go out and do Strong Dads Doing Real Life, and we had the opportunity to go out into the field. This time, though, it wasn't particularly a field, it was more like a deck. And so we had the opportunity to interview John Block. And John is a man that I had the opportunity to meet because he actually built my deck. And as networking would go, I came to find out that he was a very good Christian man who his calling to his trade was kind of unique and interesting, especially in a time where we're always trying to get our kids to figure out what they're going to do for a living. And John has a very interesting take on that. And so I think you're going to just be inspired by his message. Also, just the insight that he has on parenting, on faith in his life and in his marriage. And so I will also put some contact information in there so that you can actually, if you are in the need of a deck or any type of work that way, you can reach out and contact John Block. So I hope you enjoy this show. And if you have any questions, please feel free to respond on the comments. So let's get rolling. Strong Dads wants to thank Quality Auto Mart and Service for being a proud sponsor of the Strong Dads podcast. Started in 1985 and going strong for all these years. Recently, Quality Auto Mart has transitioned from owners of Mark and Nancy Repke to longtime employee Fred and Lorraine Venus. For all your automotive needs and golf cart needs, check out Quality Auto Mart, located across from Indian Lakes on Highway 46 outside of Batesville, Indiana. All right, guys, so here we are. Strong Dads is doing real life out at a really cool deck project. And our guest today is Mr. John Block. John, how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Good. So you let us come out here to check out some of your work today. So pretty excited to just see what's going on. So John, what do you got going on here?
Okay, what we have here is there was a existing deck. It's about 900 square feet, and it's an existing deck. And what we did is we tore out all of the structure except for the supporting beams, which we left because they're still good. And plus, a lot of the supporting beams are actual steel that was put in when the house was built.
Yeah.
So they've been covered up. We did put a aluminum plate over top of them to keep the water off them. And then what we did is we put up all new 2x10s all the way across. I think there's probably 80 of them. And that's a stair platform structure. And then we added, if you come on around, you can see this deck goes all the way around. We put in a new stair platform so that the deck actually has two exits.
Okay. Yeah.
And primarily the biggest part about this deck is the view.
Yeah, let me check out this view. So, wow. So this is a view over the Ohio River.
Correct.
So we're in the Cincinnati area. And man, that is just pretty awesome. Let me see if I can get a little bit of zoom on that.
Also, we're basically using treated lumber with composite, which has cellular PVC decking.
Yeah.
And a white fascia all the way around, and they're going to get aluminum rail.
All right.
So now I've been in business for 30 years, and this would be probably an average size deck. I've done some decks 3,400 square feet, and some of them I've done 10 by 10.
Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
Well, full disclosure, you did my deck for me.
It's still standing.
Well, yeah. No, it's beautiful. We use the heck out of it, and so it's nice work.
When I started in the business, there was actually there was not such a person as a deck builder in the phone book.
Yeah.
So it was kind of coming into a new, I can't say it was a new thing coming out here for people putting on outdoor living on the backs of their homes, but it's definitely grown.
Yeah. Well, when you started, I mean, you came through the construction world, right? You were a construction
I actually
engineer.
started out, no, actually what I did, I started out working as a carpenter, okay, for a gentleman who did some very nice homes, and I learned from there. Then I did go to college and took civil and construction engineering. And when I was in college, people were like, hey, can you build a deck for me?
Yeah.
And what really got me started is I made up some flyers and put them on mailboxes in one subdivision, and I got like 6 jobs.
Wow. Yeah.
So we didn't really know it was out there at the time.
Yeah.
But it was.
Yeah.
And then I never really looked back. It's not like something I chose. I can never say that, I'm going to start a business building decks.
Yeah.
Didn't work out that way.
Yeah.
And at the time in the winter, it was difficult. People you don't think about building a deck around Christmas.
Right.
So, would shovel snow, whatever you could, get done, make the house payment. Spring would come around, you'd build some more decks.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, you've always been kind of a one-man show, haven't you? I mean, you pick up a few guys here and there.
I've had an employee. The most employees I've ever had was 3. With the nature of the job, you can't really, it goes in order. So you can't put the post in the ground until you dig the holes, and you can't do that if you would say bring 5 guys out here, there would be 3 of them with nothing to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be very difficult to come up with things for them to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's part of the issue.
Yeah. But on the other hand, how often do you need a second set of hands?
Oh, it definitely comes in handy, not all the time. I'm kind of semi-retired now.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just picking and choosing jobs, kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
But I do have somebody who works for me, except today he's not here. He hurt his knee playing tackle football with his friends.
Oh.
And you know what? This happens all the time with employees.
Oh, yeah.
You just got to find somebody that's willing to work hard.
And that's a task, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I've had a couple people work for me 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
You have to understand, it's very physical work.
Yeah.
So like a 2x10, 14 foot, 75 pounds, 80 pounds, especially when they're wet. And digging holes by hand. We could use machines, but I found it tears up the phone lines.
Yeah, you still dig them all by hand, don't you?
Well, it's not that by choice. It's just worked out better.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Right. It's more
less headaches.
Actually.
Less headaches, And we tear out a lot of old decks too. So it's very physical. So I found a lot of young people, and they do work for me. I had a guy work for me all summer who was in college and did real well. Once they get into about week 2, they realize how physical it is, and then they figure, you have to be a little bit tough.
Yeah.
If
if you're going to do it day in and day out.
But if you stick it out, a month, then you'll find it's just another day's work.
Yeah. Yeah. And you make a good living, right? You can make a good living.
And it keeps you healthy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't have to pay for a gym.
That's right. Where I spend my stuff, money.
It's true. So it does work out.
Yeah.
And I'm 61 years old, and I keep doing it. I might just do it the rest of my life. We'll see.
That's great.
I don't have to do. I could do, instead of 30 a year, I can do 10 a year.
Yeah.
Whatever I want.
Yeah.
So.
Well, John, it's good stuff. So let's move a little bit to a different conversation, and let's talk for a little bit just about what God has to do with all of the work that you do. You're a man of faith.
Correct.
And the idea that you come to work, and over the years you get more and more wisdom about how you're going to approach life in your job.
Yes.
Yeah. And so what's God got to do with building this deck or being a dad? I know you're a dad and you're a husband. Where's God play in this?
Okay, so you have to think about, if you go, when I started out, I had people, like I said, I didn't really choose. But I never decided, I'm going to be a deck builder. It just happened. I always relate that to God, because at any point you don't know where you are in your life and what you're going to do. Mm-hmm. But he kind of gifted. It was a gift. I had a skill. I've always had a carpentry skill. And
Yeah.
I was trying to do other things, thinking that's where I need to be in life. And honestly, it was always right in front of me. And
Yeah.
once I just decided, let's just let God handle this, then he started giving me decks to build, if that sounds crazy. Because there's a lot of people, you don't really know. A couple of things I can relate to my mom in this. She lent me money to be in a home and garden show
Mm.
at the time because she said you would be great at this. And I was like, well, we'll see if it works or not.
Yeah.
So I ended up getting like 12 jobs from the show. And I ended up doing the show for 18 years. And yes, I paid my mom back.
Yeah.
But, so you just don't know.
Yeah.
How things are going to work out as far as that goes.
Well, I like the idea that sometimes we really try to force a lot of things and drive it. And, and we're called to persevere and to work through things.
Correct.
Because Satan would love to just trip us up and get in our way. But God also opens up doors. And next thing you know, like, I didn't really choose this. It chose me.
Yeah. And it's not one of them things I thought, well, is it serving people? And I thought, after about 10 years of it, I've had people come up to me and say, I sit out on my deck every evening with my son and we listen to the Reds ball game.
Yeah.
And, so I started thinking about, I kind of create things that families can get together on.
Yeah.
And once I realized that, I thought, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, does your family get together?
I will tell you, just our family. So our deck used to be just out in the sun.
Right.
And it was kind of miserable to even be out on. And now it is. In fact, we have a little sign there, the family gathering place.
There you go.
And we
people
eat
put
meals
TVs
out there.
on. I'm kind of opposed to that. I prefer nature or watching the outside. But people sit out there, watch the baseball game, whatever. It definitely does work.
Yeah, we put a TV out on ours because we thought it'd be cool. We don't ever use it.
Yeah, so some people do, some don't. However you want to do it.
Yeah, yeah. So you're also a dad.
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
And how many kiddos you have?
2.
Yeah.
I have a son who is now 28 and a daughter who is 25.
Okay. And so how did your being a follower of God and wanting to please God, how did that interplay with being a dad?
We went to church.
Yeah?
Yeah, ever since infancy we went to church. Actually, me and my wife went to church before they were born.
Yeah.
So that helped our relationship. And that's the way it was going to be.
Yeah.
That's the way I raised. We went every Sunday. Of course, we traveled, went out of town a lot and stuff. But, we made an effort to go to church and raised our kids Catholic and Christian. And it worked out very well. We would go to a very nice parish with very nice people.
Yeah.
And it just worked out really well for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And, one of the things that we talk about with Strong Dads is that whatever you and I are doing today, it is going to impact the next generation.
Yes.
And so the idea that sometimes we can do what we want to do, right? Whether I know you race jet skis and we do mountain bikes.
And I still do.
Yeah. And we could take that as the priority. But the next thing you know, how does that impact with our kids if we push God aside and that becomes our God?
True. So when way I looked at it, raising my kids was the most important thing, but even that, me and my wife being a unit that worked together that raised the kids was even more important.
Oh,
if
yeah.
that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So once we both realized that. So as far as being a dad, for me, I can't say it came natural, but it was easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to explain. It was easy. I mean, I grew up, I'm the youngest of 11.
Wow.
I have 9 sisters. Okay.
Oh.
So people say I know women. I don't know about them. And they're all older. And my brother is 10 years older than me. And I hung out with my dad because honestly, we kind of had a team because you got to think about it. There was 9 girls. It was like, what else were you going to do? So, and that's kind of how I raised, my kids. I did do something interesting with my daughter. Me and my daughter get along very well, very well. And ever since she was probably 4 or 5, on her birthday occasion, we would go out and buy her a dress. just me and her.
Mm.
Well, it started out as a dress. And I never really realized this was going to work out this way. I was like, okay, let's get you dressed. So I'd go and I'd sit down in the chair or whatever, and she'd try dress on, bring it out. How do you like it? And when she was 5, oh, that's cute. Get it. And you got to understand, there was no budget.
Yeah.
There was a budget, but I didn't let her know there was a budget.
Right.
Well, my birthday come around, she's like, hey, we got to go get me a dress. Well, then as she got older, I need these jeans and stuff. Well, I'll go with you. And we did this all the way up till she was 18 or 19.
Huh.
And by 17, she got pretty good at it. She realized I got to get the shoes, I have to get the accessories and everything, which was fine because I told myself, you know what? This is okay.
Yeah.
But it was just me and her, mom or girlfriend.
Which is pretty unusual, right? Usually moms and
I don't
daughters.
know if it's unusual or not.
Yeah.
But it worked out well. And what I realized then is she would bring an outfit on. I was just like, I don't like that. And then what I realized was she appreciated my opinion as being a man as to what looked nice and appropriate for her to wear.
Wow. Yeah.
Which we had no idea we were going down that road.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we did.
Well, the fact that she would honor and respect if you said,
my opinion,
hey, that's a little too much or whatever.
And I would go, why don't you go with this? And she was like, well, how about, and she was quite the bargainer. I mean, how about we throw in this? And she wore them. I mean, she liked it. So,
yeah. That's pretty cool.
They look nice. And that was one thing. And my son, I raced jet skis with him. That's what I did. That was a teamwork we did. And we worked hard on it. And actually, my daughter did that too. And she helped me with the mechanics on them. And that's kind of the way we came up. We were a team. We were a family. Nobody was more important than anybody else, but we were a family.
Yeah.
And it worked out good for us.
So kind of the last part of this, we talk about just the work that you do, and we talk about now your kids, but your kids are pretty much out of the nest, right?
Yes.
They're doing their thing.
Yes. Thank
goodness.
Yeah. That's why we're dads.
That's right.
Don't forget that.
Got to get them to fly.
Yes.
Yeah. And so now it's you and your wife.
Right.
Right. So how's that work now where you two find each other again, and what do you do?
We've never strayed from not just enjoying ourselves.
Yeah.
I know it's hard to believe, but we still spend our days together. We just got mountain bikes. My wife, we snow ski, and we've been snow skiing for 30 years. And my wife's actually a ski instructor. So we kind of feed it off each other and spend the time together. Mm-hmm. I'm not one of them guys. I don't know if it's because I had 9 sisters or how it works. I'm not one of them guys that does the bowling league or the softball team with all the guys. I've never been that way.
Mm-hmm.
But when I go to a jet ski race, I'm with all my friends who are guys.
Right.
You see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But Anna goes to all the races. She's always been there at every one, and everybody knows her. So that's just probably my personality.
Yeah.
It's hard to say.
How do you support her?
That's a good. I've always supported her.
Yeah. So she has interest, and she has things that she likes.
Yeah. You can everything she does. I mean, you want to snow ski? Let's go snow skiing. She was kind of depressed a little bit the other day about some things she had going on, and I said, "Look, let's just get her snow skis on and go snow skiing." And then at the end of the day, she goes, "Thanks for dragging me out here."
Yeah.
I feel really good about that.
Good.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah.
You'll have to ask her.
That's a different show.
Yeah, some of them things, it's just,
Yeah.
If you love somebody, you're going to always support them, I would think.
Yeah. John, I appreciate your time, and I appreciate just you taking the dad part seriously, because it's in my line of work, I see what happens when men don't own this part, and it's a lot of cleanup after the storm versus we could have done a lot to prevent some of that, and you've done that. And so I just thank you for the example, and now it's probably time for you to get back to work.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Thanks,
See
Merle.
you. Thank you.
That was a lot easier than I thought.
Casey's is a premier garden center and gift shop located in Lawrenceburg, Indiana. Casey's offers a wide selection of plants, landscaping materials, home and garden decor, and gifts for every occasion. Casey's is committed to providing exceptional service, a unique shopping experience, and value to every customer. Stop in and see what makes Casey's so unique. Located at 21481 State Line Road, Lawrenceburg, Indiana, or call 812-537-3800. Let Casey's help you add beauty to your home.